right, everybody, welcome to the latest edition of Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime with me, Marchand Kenny. Well, today's interview is going to be so awesome. It's with one of the hardest hitting safeties in the history of Southern Miss football, my friend and former teammate, Perry Phenix. Well, current Southern Miss football, all of a sudden for the past 3 weeks, we're starting to get this ship sailed in the right direction. We had a huge win last Thursday night in Lafayette, Louisiana, over our rival, those Raging Cajuns, and that sets up a huge game for us this Saturday in Starkville against the Mississippi State Bulldogs, and that game's on November 18th, and my birthday is November 17th, so what an awesome birthday gift that would be, Southern Miss football, if you all could gift wrap a win, and I would be such a happy man. And speaking more on that big game for us this Saturday, I thought it'd be a perfect time to get your comments in the fan comment portion of this show, and that's the segment that we call For and Out. Well, this week on social media, I asked everyone, considering we have a 3-7 football season right now, would a win over Mississippi State make the season a success? I had a lot of great answers, so head over to social media and check some of those answers out, but I can only pick 4 of them because that's the name of the segment, For and Out. First up, someone says, hell no, it would give us hope going into next year and be very sweet, but a 4-8 season or 5-7 is never a success. Next up, someone said, yes. 1,000 times, yes. So I think they would like a win over Mississippi State. Next up, I gotta know the program didn't build on last year's success. A win would make the season a little more tolerable, but overall, it's a failure. And then finally, someone says, while I would rather be in contention for the conference title, if we beat State, then I will be in the office the next Monday, all decked out in black and gold, and I like that right there. Wear that black and gold if we get the win in Starkville. Well, today's interview comes with a guy who had a solid NFL career with the Tennessee Titans, and he's one of the best defensive backs in the history of the Nasty Bunch. Today's interview is with Perry Phenix. Well, today's interview is with one of the hardest hitting safeties in the history of Southern Miss football. He was a 2-time all-conference performer. He had a 6-year NFL run, and he's part of one of the biggest plays in the history of the NFL that we'll get into with the Titans. So with all that said, I'm bringing you one of my great friends, one of my great former teammates, Perry Phenix. Perry, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Marchand? Man, thank you so much.
Absolutely, and you can see I set up differently on my set, and it took us a while to get set up before we even got on here, but I had to have this painting behind me. Perry, you got me on a painting. The 97 Liberty Bowl. You break open the game in the third quarter where you get a fumble that Pitt has, you scoop it, you score it, and man, next thing you know, we're celebrating New Year's Eve in Memphis, and they made some artwork about it too, and there I am. So thank you, Perry. You got me on a painting, brother.
Okay. Well, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I think we worked hand in hand together, and I see all the greats right there. I see Pat Surtain. I see Marchand Kenny. I see Adelius Thomas. I see Coach Bauer. Oh man, that's amazing.
Coach Bauer, there's John Thompson. I'm pointing kind of opposite. So there's AD, me, and this poor Pitt running back right here, man. There's even Harold Shaw right there. See right there?
I see Harold, number 14, Big Harold.
All the guys. They should have put everybody in the painting. That was a team.
They tried to. They
definitely tried to, as you can see right there. But Perry, man, one thing, we had some great memories, great moments, and we'll get into that. But one thing about guys like you and me, and I think our coaches back then would vouch for it, we were characters. We had some good times off the field. There's no doubt about that, man. And it was only fitting, we had our 25-year reunion last year, and I took it on myself to try to round up as many guys as I could. I called you, and you said, Marchand, I'd love to be there, man. But that same weekend, I got tickets to the Bobby Brown concert, and it's VIP tickets, Marchand, man. I would. Yeah. So I said, Perry, that's your prerogative, man. I get it. Do you think so, Perry?
Yeah, man. Well, you know what? Bobby Brown has always been one of my favorite artists with New Edition and everything. And I love Coach JT. I love me some Coach JT. Coach Thompson, I'm so sorry. Bobby Brown, I had to be there because my girlfriend at that time, she got, it took months to get those tickets. Whatever, had some great seats, had a great time. It was my birthday. I guess my birthday, that was probably around the 10th of November, whatever.
It was right around the time. Yep.
Yeah. So my birthday was on the 14th. I know your birthday too, Marchand.
We're Scorpios. We're 3 days apart.
Hey, we the best. Hey, we the best sign.
Scorpio, baby. Scorpio.
Hey, yeah, but you know what? I know, that was a pinnacle moment for Coach T, and I wish I would have been there to join you guys or whatever. But I did enjoy the concert.
Oh, no doubt, man. I mean, I would have had a hard time. Bobby Brown VIP or the 25-year reunion, I'd have had to. So I feel you, man. Plus, you don't live around the corner. You're in Dallas, Texas, man.
Right. And I did my best. I did my best to try to get there. I looked at all of the fights that coming in the pedal. I guess what's the airport pedal? Airport?
Hattiesburg Regional. It's a little on the outskirts.
I'm thinking about Pedal Mall. That's what I'm thinking about.
But wait, dude, speaking of that airport, do you remember that? I was scared of flying. I still am kind of a little bit, even though I'm flown a lot. But do you remember coming to that little bitty ass runway and we'd run off the runway?
Oh, hell yeah.
We run off the damn thing. It was so small.
Right. And you know what? It's so funny. It's so funny, man. On my trip, coming from coming from Southern Miss, I had to go through Memphis for whatever reason. And they put me on one of those planes, man. And I never experienced turbulence, Marchand. And so I'm definitely with you. That little runway, it brought back memories. I'm like, oh man, I gotta fly into a international airport. This little regional airports don't work. We got the same thing in Monroe, Louisiana, but it was very eventful every time we would take off or coming in. But hey, it is what it is.
Man, there's so many memories of that little airport with so many road games we had to play in. But man, with you, Perry, they had to start somewhere. All this hard hitting, high flying action, getting on the painting stuff that you did. It all started at Hillcrest High School. I know there's a story before it, but Hillcrest High School, where I knew you were a bad man, but I didn't know at an early age you were a bad man on the football field, where you won the Black Face Mask Award at Hillcrest, which was for the hardest hitter on the team. Yeah. Perry, talk to me. It all came from a young age. Perry was a bad man, people. And I know you know, but I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. Hey, Marchand, that black face mask, it did mean something to me always. Tenacious, and and I got that from my early years of being introduced to football, just playing on the playground, and we played what we call hot ball, and it's one of the things that you're at school, whatever, that morning after you get through eating breakfast, right before you got to start class, you get a milk cart and you smash it, and that's your football, and you try to get the football. Whoever picks up the football, he's a bad man himself because he's brave, and you try to knock somebody's socks off, and that was one of those things that I got a fame, I guess some sort of name by like Jack Tatum, clotheslining, whatever it took, man. I was all about it. But growing up in Monroe, Louisiana, man, there was a lot of different neighborhoods that we played football against each other. I'm from Richwood, you had Tanglewood, Pine Bayou, places like that. And there was a rite of passage that you played on the team. If you didn't play on the team, if you didn't want to play on the team, we would think that you were weird. I know. We thought you were weird if you didn't want to play, if you didn't want to play on the team. And it was like one of those things that you could boast about, in your neighborhood. But I'll never forget, Marchand. We were playing one Saturday morning at the graveyard, and I was always younger than my older brothers, and we were a man short. And on that one Saturday morning, one of the guys couldn't make it or whatever. So we were a little short. And my brother came to me, my oldest brother came to me, and he said, "Hey, you're up." And I was like, "What, me? I'm up?" He was like, "Yeah, man, you're up. This is what you've been asking for, right?" And one of the guys from one of the neighboring neighborhoods, I forget if it was Parkview or Pine Bayou. I think it was Pine Bayou, and they had some big boys or whatever. So they had this one guy Big Kurt. We called him Big Kurt, and he was like the Jerome Bettis of the neighborhood. Nobody wanted to hit him, and there I was all alone, middle field, just like playing regular safety, and he comes running straight for me, and all I just remember, man, is like, hey, I can't be scared. Cannot be scared. My brother, the team, they're counting on me, and I just put my head down, hit him dead in the thighs, and man, he flipped over, and everybody went crazy. So it was my moment in the sun. Whatever. I made my brothers proud. I made the neighborhood proud. So yeah, hitting was nothing for me, man. I never wanted to play offense. I always wanted to play defense. I wanted to be giving the hits instead of taking the hits.
Man, Perry, when you were there, being in the linebacker room like I was, you're in the DB room. There was zero doubt while I was there. Perry Phenix would be in this linebacker room and maybe take one of our jobs. I mean, you were that dude. So, but Perry, after high school, man, you wound up going the JUCO route. Walk us through a little bit on how that happened over at Trinity.
Okay, man. Believe it or not, man, it was all chance. And I always say this, Marchand, God is great. God has been amazing in my life, man. And I don't know where I would be without him. And you know what? A lot of people don't realize I only played 6 games of high school, right? And I played only 1 year junior college. But I was living on my own with my best friend. He was a quarterback, star quarterback of our team. We were living together. And I basically piggybacked off Derek. Derek was a good quarterback. And so he did not qualify to go to TCU, didn't qualify to go to TCU. So my coach, being who he was, Coach Gary Monty, man, Coach Gary Monty, I love that guy. And he said, hey, I got another player. Don't have a lot of film on him or whatever, but I think he'll pretty much impress you or whatever. So I go down there, man. You did say we was characters, man. I think you got to be biggest. I think you got to be a little, and you could also speak on this. You got to be a little crazy to play defense. Just a little crazy.
In that John Thompson scheme, you had to be a little different. They'll just leave it at that. A little different.
Got to be a little different. And man, you know what? Me being in the fashion of Perry, P-Funk Phenix, man, I go down there, Marchand, and there is literally 400 guys from all over the country at Trinity Valley. Trinity Valley was a perennial powerhouse in the ranks of junior college. I mean, you got guys from Miami, you got guys from California, guys from New York or whatever. And I just remember nobody had a letter of intent. We signed what we thought was a letter of intent, like, hey, you got a scholarship here. No, you had to make the team, brother. You had to make the team. So there's 400 guys, literally. And so we're getting our physicals. And, you know, you kind of feel out people because, you know, when you get in the lines of defensive backs, cornerbacks, you know, everybody's about the same size. You don't know who plays what. So we're sitting there, Marchand, and we're like, what position you play? I play safety. What position you play? I play safety. Man, hey, there were 14 free safeties. There was 14, I'm lot 9. There was 14 strong safeties and just so many cornerbacks. So I came in not as a safety, but as a cornerback. I came as a cornerback, but I had a little size on me.
I was about to say, you at cornerback jamming a receiver? They'd never get off the line, Perry.
Man, but you know what? And I mean, Patton, we always talked about, at least we used to always talk about the difference between cornerback and safety is the feet, man. I mean, I would give it to anybody. I was all right for a cornerback, but you know, my thing was safety. If I was going to make it anywhere, I was going to make it at safety. So I came in and I made the decision. I said, hey, I got a better chance playing the safety, whatever. But make a long story short, man, there were so many guys, and man, I'm talking these guys were running 4.3s for real. And in the middle of the night, Coach Randy Pippen, man, this guy, I had the opportunity to play with some of the most, we were talking about JT, but Coach Randy Pippen, man, the day we had 4 days. We had 4 days. There was a guy.
4-day practices?
Man. 4-day practice. Hey, it's so crazy, man. I never remember Kelly Black. There was a guy named Kelly Black, and he was trying to get a little rest, Marchant, and he wore his jock strap because that second practice you go to lunch, and he just wanted to get a nap, I guess, and he didn't take his jock strap off. Man, he ended up getting an infection, and let's say this.
Yeah,
he's short. Hey,
you got to keep your groin clean. You got,
man, you have to, man. But it was that type of program, and man, the poor guy, man, had to lose a testicle.
Oh,
he lost a testicle because everybody's trying to make the team, man. Yes, man, it was crazy, man.
I don't mean to laugh because the man lost his testicle, but dang.
Hey, it was that type of situation, man. Like I said, it was cutthroat. It was cutthroat. Well, I don't know if you've ever seen some of these shows. Last Chance U, it was like that. Junior college, you got some of the best talent. You got some of the guys. Some of these guys were coming out of prison, man. They were coming out of prison just to get another shot at it again. But man, we used to just hear in the middle of the night, we hear bags getting thrown over the rails, and we like. Boom, you go outside, you hit his nose, you're like, hey, where you going? He's like, man, I'm going to Tyler Junior College. I'm going to play basketball. We was like, man, you just ran a 4.3. You're going to make the team. He was like, no, I think I'm going to try my hand at basketball.
This ain't for me.
Yeah,
but my man just lost his testicle. This ain't for me.
yeah, man. It was a great and different time, and it's just like life. And like a lot of times, I always equate football just like life. And there was a time that hey, you had to get in where you fit in, and you had to work and bust your butt. And I did exactly that. But unfortunately, me being who I was at the time, didn't have a lot of direction. Like I mentioned earlier, I lived by myself or whatever. I made the team. I relaxed a little bit. Coach had to put me off the team, man. I was in the girls' dorm. He had already gave me a warning, man. And like, I felt that I was a superstar or whatever, right? You let that guard down. And so he told me this, and Marchant, I mean, you probably can understand this when somebody really believes in you. And at the time, I wasn't trying to hear it, man. And I was like, man, I'm gonna move back to Dallas. And I got the one ads, and I'm circling jobs. Remember, no college education. And I come upon this job description, and it's for a maintenance type guy that fixed on like refrigerators or something. And I was like, I could do that.
So wait up, this is right after kind of the junior college time before you get to Southern Miss?
Yeah, this is all before Southern Miss.
Because dude, this is crazy. I hate that. I didn't know that happened. You were All-American. You were the team MVP.
Man, I was about to chuck it all up to become a repairman for appliance repairman. And I was like, I circled that job, man. And I held that paper for so long, man. I'm not lying. I mean, I got it. It's somewhere in my storage or whatever that I circled that job. And you know what? I end up having a conversation with the coach. And what he said was, he's like, every Wednesday, you and I, we're going to run 3.7 miles. Right. And he gave me a Bible. And he said, we're going to go over scripture. And in my head, just imagine me being a young 19-year-old. And I'm like, man, this is football. This is not church. This is football. But Coach Randy Pippen, man, he would run those 3.7 miles with me every Wednesday. It was on my lunch break. I had to eat lunch and go to his office, get dressed, and we ran those 3.7 miles. And he told me, he said, you're going to thank me for this. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Or whatever. But make a long story short, the very next year comes around. Remember, we have 2 years in junior college. There was a great player that, that me and him battled. His name was Dietrich Smith. And Dietrich he was every bit of, if you thought free safety, if you looked at him, you was like, no, that's a free safety right there. I'm talking
that's what I said about you. You looked the part.
No,
you were a prototype build.
I'm roughly about 6'1.5", and I give myself that half. But this guy was 6'3". This guy ran a 4.3.
I see what you're saying about 6'3".
He was like a prototypical free safety. And Coach Randy Pippen, I don't know if he did it to inspire me, but he would always say when we were at practice, he would like, let's go down to Dietrich's domain. And that's the guy's name was Dietrich. And I think he was just lighting that fire up on me, under me or whatever. And man, I'll never forget, I left it all on the practice field. Every practice, I would go into my dorm and let the water just run down my head and just think about, because I had nothing. I gave it all every day, every practice. And I beat him out, man. Went on, like you said, we won the national championship. Not the year, but the year that I got dismissed from the team, which I wasn't dismissed. I still had my scholarship. I just wasn't on the team, basically. I mean, so I always like think, man, he kept me because he believed in me or whatever, kept my scholarship and everything like that. But they won the national championship. I missed out on that one. But God does things for a reason, man. The very next year, I do claim those All-American first team honors and have a great opportunity, to extend my college career and go get an education.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, Perry. I mean, that's one thing, why a Last Chance U is such a big hit on TV and such a just inspirational, because, junior college guys, man, a lot of times it's last chance, like I'm trying to make a name for myself and giving it all. You just gave a great example of giving everything you had and falling off, but like, no, I'm coming back up. And to the point, you're All-American, team MVP, and you're starting to get some offers.
Oh, yeah.
Houston, TCU, Southern Miss is what I read it came down to. Forgive me, I've missed some more, but we knew you were a big deal coming into Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Why did you choose Southern Miss?
Man, you know what? It was even more teams than that, Marchant.
That's what I said. Please give them all, because I Google and I found what I can.
Well, you know what? The thing about it, like going that junior college route back then, you were slated to go to teams like Southern Miss, but I had Alabama and Washington, and in my mind, I knew that I had no time. I had 2 more years of eligibility, and I'm not from the best situation in Monroe. We lived on a dirt road and everything. Mama needed a house. I got 2 years, and man, I'm trying to make this work. And I knew that I wanted to be, how can I say this, Marchant? I wanted to be a big fish in a small pond. I didn't want to go and coach DuBose, Jeff DuBose. He was defense coordinator at Alabama. I could have went to Arkansas, but I didn't want to go and sit on the shelf. I didn't want to go to sit on the shelf. And at the time, Washington Huskies, my mom getting Asian, getting older, whatever, that was just too far. Her being in Monroe. And, I looked at Southern Miss and some of the schools, TCU and Houston. I actually committed to Houston first, man. I don't know if y'all know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I committed to Houston. And it's so funny, man. I think the DBs knew it, but at the time, I forget what was the coach's name for Houston.
Was that Houston Nutt?
No, it wasn't Houston Nutt. Man, if I didn't,
then I'm drawing a blank. Then
I'm
on this show. I try to remember everything. Sometimes
you know what? Hey, we're getting a little bit older, man. We're not as young. But anyhow, like I end up reneging on my commitment there because I didn't feel it. At first, it was predicated off of a girl. It was a girl. And I was like, hey, you know what? This guy's going to give us both a scholarship. He's going to give me a full scholarship, and you're going to get a partial if I go down to Houston. Because, hey, I was like, let's do this. And she was one of the sweetest people that I ever know. Still this day, her mom is my mom, Miss Smith, is a lovely lady. And she told me, she said, Marchant, she said, I don't want you to do this for me. You're doing this for you, right? Don't worry about me. So I was like, yeah, I didn't really feel comfortable with the coach. And he was former NFL assistant coach, O-line coach. And he did not like the fact that I reneged and went to Southern Miss. So once we play, and we'll get into our loss.
We'll get into that. But thank goodness you chose Southern Miss. And I do love how the ladies tie in the story too, because Perry, you were a sharp looking guy, and the ladies kind of like Perry Phenix and me.
Yeah, right, Marchant.
We had some.
Marshawn, you know, you was one of the and you were one of the most handsome guys that didn't know he was handsome, man. How did you pull that off, man? Like everybody would, I remember looking at you, just the way you move, Marshawn, and I was like, don't he see that the girls are going crazy over? But you didn't even care, man. It's almost like you didn't care.
But sometimes I didn't, man. But definitely, you know, I have my good times. There's no doubt about it. And I used to sneak that little punchline, you know, number 43 in your program, number 1 in your heart. I definitely would slide that in there.
No doubt.
But look, that's enough about me. Back to you, Perry. But
okay.
Southern Miss.
Yeah, Southern Miss. Man, you know what? My getting to my real true decision was to going down there, and I felt so comfortable. Like it made me feel like I still had that connection of that the dirty South, man. You know what I'm saying? So when I went there, everything felt comfortable. You know, I went to the Pedal Mall, the beautiful ladies, Southern Bells down there, whatever. And I knew that you guys, I knew that you guys had some experience. I mean, the guys that were coming back, I mean, you guys had played as freshmen and sophomores, man. You know what I'm saying? So you guys are pretty experienced. You guys weren't just guys that were being on a team the first time, I mean, getting to play. So I coupled that together and wanted to be that big fish in a small pond. And I looked at the teams that we had to play. I was like, man, talking about exposure. I mean, we're playing Florida State. You know, we're playing Georgia. You know, we're playing who else we played?
Alabama.
We played Alabama. We played all the bigs, whatever. And that's how you get noticed by playing against those guys, man. And you know what? I don't know if it was myself or if it was God. It just worked out, man. It worked out, and I went there. I'll never forget. I called it going ag. I shaved all my hair when I got there. Coach Womack, I rode the Greyhound bus there. Got there a little bit early. Coach Womack was there to pick me up or whatever. And I said, I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm not going to talk to I'm not here to make no friends or whatever. And I shaved my head, so I went ag. And I just remember Pat, all those guys or whatever, they were like, you're a mean guy, aren't you? They had no idea that I was this goofball, that I'm just this goofy guy. I love to laugh or what, I love to smile.
Man, Perry, you could act as tough and hard as you want. I was tough and hard. I tried. Man, once you got with the team, it was impossible. It was too much fun. You just couldn't miss out on the fun. You had to let go of the exterior, the hard exterior round.
I had to, but the first thing first, I had to make the team though. I had to make my presence.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, because I wasn't playing around. And but like you said, like you did say, I mean, getting around, a lot of times people actually do ask me, do I miss the game? And I'm like, man, you know what? It's not that I don't miss the game, but what I miss is like the camaraderie that you build with guys from all over the place or whatever, you know. And we did have most of our recruits were from that Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama area. We were from different places, but we still had that same type of thing in common. And you tend to miss that more than you miss the game when you look at the years and years go by, whatever.
Oh yeah, you had an incredible football run, obviously pro and things like that. But people ask me, what do you miss most? I miss the guys. I miss Perry. I mean, just the laughs and good times. But on the field with that hard exterior that you came in with, man, I'm about to prove a point. It was clear we got a starter, and it's Perry Phenix at the safety position. I mean, you were just knocking people out. But when you came in, you walked into something really unique. So John Thompson, we had been a 4-3 defense, that traditional look before you got there. He decides to bring this 3-4 blitz crazy scheme that nobody had ever seen. I mean, it was a special kind of defense, man. It made all the highlights enough to where we saw in the first game of the season, we're playing at Georgia. And this is your first start, first big game. And what are your thoughts, man? It's your first game in the black and gold with this new blitzing scheme between the hedges.
Man, it was surreal. It was surreal, man. Just to be in that atmosphere. All my family came down, and we're between the hedges, whatever. And I know that I forget the gentleman name that Coach Bauer brought down, and he actually, we would, before the games, right there on that Friday night, and we were like, get on one accord, one heartbeat. He brought in, you remember that guy?
Oh, it's time. It's
It's
time.
time.
It's
It's
time.
time. It's
And then
time.
I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, when we beat Georgia, I'm like, this guy's on to something.
Right, right. And, hey, because I mean, I just remember me and some of the guys, we were like, man, this is corny as hell. But he came again, and I felt that. I felt that what I was like, this guy he's on to something for real, like you or whatever. But it
and I'm
was
from
time.
New Orleans. I'm like, they got some voodoo going on here. This is working.
Right. Man, but it's like, it's we got on one accord to say, and it was our time. It was our time, because a lot of people don't realize in the backfield. I don't know how much you guys knew, but you remember Rod? You remember Rod Thomas?
Rod Thomas, yeah. He was dang near an All-American cornerback going into that junior year. My junior year.
Yeah, exactly. And Rod was one of the reasons that I came there, man, because if you know anything, it's not just one person, but who plays beside you. Like, you are a great compliment to everything that my success, whatever. You don't have good players around you, you can't be a one-man show, especially playing free safety. But I just knew that Rod was a good player. I knew Pat Surtain, and I was like, man, add me to the mix, whatever. We're gonna be good. And that the night before the game, I believe, we found out, or the very next day, I forget, that he was ineligible. We had an idea, but you remember that?
Yeah, Rod, man, found out the day before the Georgia game. We're losing our cornerback. I mean, dang.
Yeah, so we had to like on the fly, basically. Nicky Seymour comes in, Jamal comes and play. He's the strong safety and whatever. And man, believe it or not, bro, to this day, I never did like Hines Ward. Many battles. I love Hines Ward, to be honest with you, but I didn't like him when we played. So I told him one day when we were playing against Steelers, I was like, you remember that butt kicking? But I didn't use the word butt. I said that ass whooping we gave y'all between the hedges or whatever. But man, that was amazing for us to be that school, like you said. Four games at home. We were role warriors, and we just had each other, man. We had each other. Man, that year was amazing. I mean, it was amazing for me.
But you just hit a nail on the head, Perry. What made it so amazing, it just really felt like we had each other. Because when you really talk about Southern Miss football, when we were there in that time frame, if you didn't go to an SEC school and you're from Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana, and you were good enough, literally, it was not Troy, South Alabama, UAB to go to if you want to play major football. You went to Southern Miss. It felt like us against the world with Bama, Auburn, State, Ole Miss, and LSU right around us. And that just created this thing, man. Like, you just can't explain it. It was us against the world is what it felt like.
I like to equate that to, I mean, like I said, I use a lot of analogies with football, man. It's just like life. You know what I'm saying? There's only so many positions that you're going to go, that these kids going to go to these big schools or whatever. And like my decision, I did not want to be put on the shelf. So there's great places for them to go, like a Southern Miss and UAB and some of those smaller tier schools or whatever, that, you're probably not going to win a lot of games if you're playing against those big schools or whatever, because at the end of the day, we see what's going on, like with Colorado right now. It's like those backup players, they are also 4 and 5 star players. And then you got some guys, I mean, talent wise, you probably got some dogs, but if one of the dogs get hurt, you know what I'm saying, you got to have a backup come in that's also that you don't skip a beat with. But we were something unique at Southern Miss. I mean, a lot of people don't realize, and I always tell them about Mike Slive, how he was our commissioner at Conference USA. And then, we were kicking everybody's butt, not just us, but, you had Louisville, you had Tulane, you had Cincinnati. They were also very competitive. And this guy gets an upgrade, and he ends up being the commissioner of the SEC. That's how good we were as a conference. And I know, you and I, we were talking about it, that, I just knew that Southern Miss, what we started, that would just keep formulating into, hey, one day we're going to be in the SEC, whatever. And, that didn't happen. But going back, I mean, we did something very special.
And yeah, that's one thing I loved about Conference USA, the whole vibe. I mean, it was just chip on your shoulder. Even the commissioner had a us against the world vibe, and he wound up being, the commissioner for the SEC, Mike Sly. But man, we win that Georgia game. You bat a pass down on their last offensive play, 11-7. And that plane ride back into Hattiesburg, man. I mean, half of Hattiesburg was there to greet us. It was so much fun.
Man, I mean, my mom still, I know it's wilted away now probably, but she still got the hedges in the in her in our book or whatever. And I remember it being good times, not just for myself, for them coming down and enjoying the win with us. And back when we got back, it was amazing. I felt like superstars, whatever, right? Felt like superstars. Hey, we were what they say, on and popping, man. We were on and popping. And from there, I knew we would do something special, and we kept it all together. And like you said, I mean, you'll be amazed about, in a time when, you got the same ideology, and when you believe, and we started to believe into that purpose and to that mission, that we had to do something great, and nobody else was going to do it but ourselves. And we put the work in. Yeah,
we definitely put the work in, and you were becoming one of the best free safeties you've seen in a long time at Southern Miss. And I mean, you had games against Louisville, 16 tackles. You had a game against Cincinnati, 10 tackles in your junior year. I mean, what was funny about you, like, you think DBs, pass breakups, interceptions, Perry's coming at you. You were trying to beat me out at the middle linebacker position for total tackle. That was your goal.
Oh yeah. Hey, you remember when you and I, man, I mean, after a game, I wanted to beat you into the film room. I mean, of course, I was going to be at there was this place, man. I'll never forget. The football players, man, we would go in there, man. We have our shirts off, and we're just after a game, and it was just so much fun, man. But after that craziness, whatever, that next morning, I couldn't wait till the film was ready, and just to look and view the film and see where did I show up, did I miss any assignments or whatever. I wanted to be in the play, if not making a play, in the play, and you were the same way. And it was just that competition that we had with each other, and it fed us. It fed us to do something great or whatever.
Absolutely. And Perry, one thing about us, I mean, team first. Most important thing is the wins. But man, every now and then you got guys in your team like you and me, where I wanted to know how many tackles I had. I'm sorry, I did.
No. It's like you said, it's not a me thing, but
no, it ain't a me thing. But all right, we won. All right, how'd I do?
Yeah, right. I always believe this, and I don't know exactly where I got it from, but if it's to be, it's up to me. And I feel like if everybody went in and did their job to the best they could be, I mean, as a whole, as a team, we were going to be good. And like you were mentioning, Coach Thompson changing that defense, and that defense, you didn't know where we were coming from. And there were times that, I was the free safety, but when it came in those run fits and everything like that, I was more like the strong safety, and Jamal was more of the free safety. He was more of our cover safety. That's why he had the title of strong safety. But in all actuality, I was a strong safety. It was really weird, and it paid dividends because, believe it or not, once I did get the opportunity to make it to the NFL, we played that bear defense. It was the same defense, and Coach Thompson had an opportunity. He came down while I was there with the Titans or whatever. And he was there with Coach Jeff Fisher, whatever. And he was like, yeah, man, he said, you guys play the same defense that we played. So thank you, Coach Thompson.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
Thompson, whatever.
Yeah. Coach
Gave me a lot of
Thompson thanks
experience.
you. Yeah, Coach Thompson thanks you, man. And that defense was unique to college football. We were really kicking ass and taking names. We became a top 10 defense in all sorts of categories.
Oh, yeah.
And then for whatever reason, Perry, I still can't explain. It's like the Twilight Zone. We go to Houston. We're 8-1. We're a top 20 team, man. And we just forget how to play defense. And they score 56 points and beat us in overtime. I can't explain the game, Perry. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Antoine Smith, man.
Antoine Smith happened. It was like tackling a tank, Perry. I don't know what they fed that dude before the game.
Man,
and I'm speaking for everybody. It's like tackling a tank that night.
Well, Antoine was another one of those guys that came, one of those junior college guys, and he probably felt the same way that I did. That 2 years he was hungry or whatever. But man, that guy and a 6'2", 6'3" guy, 235, and running the way that he ran, and I never would like to say that I what do you call it, whipped on the tackle, but he was coming, and I had to make a business decision. I mean, he just got made a business.
No, I mean, Perry, this dude. If anybody went back and watched this film, I wish they wouldn't because it's embarrassing.
Yeah, please don't.
But it was like, even me, people like that dude was a hard hitter. I was hanging on to that dude every night. I don't know what got into this guy. He hulked up. I don't know.
Well, you know what? We both, like I said, we ended up that season being co-champions, but because of the win over us, they got propelled to going into the Liberty Bowl or whatever. But they were really, really good, and it was just their night. And there was a lot of points scored, but it wasn't our best showing. And sometimes you lose some, you win some, and that time we lost one. But I think it just fueled us to go into the next year.
100%, Perry. And I mean, that made a theme for that 97 season. Our slogan was unfinished business. And that unfinished business slogan was kind of dedicated to getting Houston back. Let's call it what it is. But getting to that season, man, we knew we were going to be good. We were loaded with talent. I mean, NFL talent all over the place.
Oh, yeah. You could just look at it, Marchand. I mean, there's so many guys from that team in those 2 years that actually, got an opportunity to go on and play some more football in the league or whatever. But, we believed in ourselves, and we had that something to fight for. Just when you think you're good, whatever, if we had any doubt in our mind that we were good, the previous year proved it, but we did not finish the deal. And going into that 1997 season, we were determined to get back to where we were and surpass that and go to the Liberty Bowl.
So determined. We were so good on defense, man. I get so many wows from people when they talk about our defense. I say, do you know 10 of the 11 starters in some form or fashion went to the NFL? I mean, and Latrell's the one who didn't, and he was more talented than me. I still can't explain that one. But I mean, dude, that's nuts. That's nuts, Perry. I mean, you had a much longer run than me, obviously, bigger things, but just NFL everywhere. But which led us to game one, man, at Florida in the swamp.
Oh, yeah. Defending
national champions. And we knew we were good. People didn't give us a chance. But watching the film, I'm like, we're on defense, we're as good as they are. And I mean, if we had any offense at night, Perry, and I joke with Lee Roberts all the time, if we had any offense at night, we win the game, period.
Yeah. I mean, I remember vaguely that I remember the energy more than anything. It reminded me of that game the previous year in Georgia. That atmosphere was so thick that you could just take a knife and fork and cut it and eat it or whatever. And we were excited.
That's a great way to put it. It was, you could feel it in the students right behind you, just calling your every name in the book.
Yeah, in the swamp, in the swamp, man. And you know what? I remember like that game. They had some good receivers. They had Jaquez Green, and he saw us as we were going out to the field, and he did us like this. He did me and Pat and I like this. He said, "I bet you guys get an L." He said that. Yeah, I mean, he was talking smack. And if anybody remembers Jaquez Green, he was quick, and he was a He was
lightning quick.
He was like lightning quick. But we said, yeah, we here, baby. You know what I'm saying? We here. And after that game, well, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but he definitely knew, and along with his other teammates, one of the running backs he played for.
Was that Fred Taylor?
Fred Taylor.
Yep, Fred Taylor.
You know what? I hit him. You know, I think I had something like 18 tackles that game or whatnot. Yeah. And man, that was a big boy himself or whatever. But they learned something that day. Even though that we didn't win or whatever, our defense, man, they knew that we were there.
Who did they know we were there, man? I mean, they might go back and watch that game. I mean, we put on a show and did a little more offense, man. The score is even closer than that 21-6 ending. And we made a name for ourselves.
Yeah, Javon Curse.
And you did 18 tackles that game, man. You killed it. And then the next week we go to Illinois, smash them, and then third game of the season, you know, we got a home game in Nevada, and you know, our leader, Coach Bauer, man, we got some awful news that week, though, heading into that week. His daughter, Kristen, was literally, I'd known her for 4 or 5 years, like almost like a little sister to me. We learned of her passing that week, man, and that was hard. That was hard, man. You remember that week, and then we wore all black.
I definitely do remember that week. You know, we always, I think it was you and I. We always wanted to wear the black, right? We was like, oh man. He's like, I think it was you. You were like, man, that black. We wear that black or whatever. But that us wearing that black, it was definitely the right moment. It was a terrible time, and I just remember during the processions of the funeral or whatever, looking at Coach Bauer, and nobody wants to bury. I don't have any children, but nobody wants to bury a child or whatever. And I just saw the pain in his face, and I know us as a team, and we became a family that it helped us get stronger or whatever. But yeah, we wore the all black, and we did that for Kristen.
Yeah, that's where Coach Bauer takes a bigger, deeper meaning to a lot of us, because he dealt with the toughest thing a dad can deal with, and you know, and then with what happened. But he stayed coaching us, stayed strong. And I had him on my show week 1, and he said, "Man, y'all were my shoulder to lean on, more or less. Y'all lifted me up when I was down." And I'm like, "Dang, man." So, but that's what we did, and we kept rolling along, man. I mean, we were really running through Conference USA. And lo and behold, man, we're top 25 and Houston's in town. The game we all circled, the unfinished business, and we weren't going to lose to them this year, that's for sure. We're going to Liberty Bowl and winning Conference USA. What was your mindset when Houston came to the Rock?
At our place, definitely, Marchand, it was payback. It was definitely payback. Hey, we should have won then, but you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. They won it. You're at our place. Nah, it's retribution, baby. It's time for you to time for us to show you who are the kings. And man, that was a great game, man.
Man, incredible game. I mean, 33-0. And then when you say the hit in Southern Miss world, Patrick Surtain taking the Houston receivers, helmet one way and his teeth the other way. Man, Latrell Pollard joked with me recently. He's like, "Man, I don't condone bullying, but we bullied them dudes that day." Bullied them.
They had it coming. They
deserved it. They deserved it.
And that hit, man. Hey, just being, I know you were on the field, but I was in pursuit, right? I just see the ball come as like a slant, and all I can remember, like,
oh, you can see it coming.
Right. Oh man, the poor kid, he never had a shot. But as defensive backs, we live for those hits, man. We live. If that was in today's game, Pat would have been thrown out the game. That would have been targeting. Definitely.
To be frank, I'm glad the game's a little safer. But in 1997, that's how you played, Perry. That's how you played. I mean, you had so many dang big hits, I lost count. But that was the game. And sorry, that happened. Man. I'm sorry, Houston wide receiver, you lost your teeth. Hopefully the dentist took care of everything.
That game back then, you know, it was for the strong and not the weak, man. Not saying that today's game is weak.
No. It's still a tough game today. Very tough.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
It's a little different. I mean, I'm glad no lead with the head. I'm literally glad with that.
Hey, Marchand, I just thought of something. I remember just the big pads. Do you look at the kids now? I mean, it seems like they almost have nothing on, and we had those big pads.
You remember the big goofy ass neck roll, just trying to look as big as
Hey, we
it's
didn't know
funny, man. I think it's a change with padding, man. I mean, they almost got like get rid of the leg pads, and they were like little shorts almost. It seemed like little tight shorts.
Yeah. I mean, you know what?
It's different.
I look at it right now, and I believe the game is being played a little bit faster than what we played or whatever. And
it's faster.
I mean, it's definitely a little bit faster. But there's a lot of things that you couldn't be fast at back in the day because you knew coming across the middle, somebody was going to take your head off. So you better be, you're not running those quick slants like that, like you do today or whatever, like going across the middle. So, I mean, it is what it is. The game has changed, whatever. I still enjoy the game, but there was nothing like playing, back then when we played, when everything went.
It was the Rock was a little vicious, man, at times. So, but man, what a team we had that year. I mean, Perry, man, I'm deep in Southern Miss world, and even Coach Bauer said that's the best team he coached, man. And I'm not arguing with Perry, but took us to the Liberty Bowl, top 20 season, conference champs, and and in the Liberty Bowl, playing Pittsburgh. A lot of people didn't think we'd win for whatever reason. We watched the film. We knew we were going to win.
We knew.
This is not going to be too tough, but man, Liberty Bowl week, Liberty Bowl game, close to your incredible 2-year run at Southern Miss, man. How was that for you?
Oh man, you know what? I think just believing in our whole purpose was like getting back there and experiencing that with a team that you love. I mean, I could genuinely say, I love you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like everything was meant to be at that point in time for us. It was our time, and I'll never forget it. You know what I'm saying? Until I go to my grave. Hopefully CTE doesn't kick in or whatever, that I forget some of that stuff. But at this point, I can't see myself forgetting those memories, and just talking here with you or whatever. It's more and more coming back to me, the little nuances that you tend to forget as the years go by. But man, those were memories that you can never, ever, ever forget, man.
Southern Miss fans took over Memphis, that whole side of the stadium. It was such a special night, and the game got broken open, when you got a fumble recovery and ran it in for a touchdown, man, and immortalized us, man, the whole team. And this painting's all over Hattiesburg, and
right.
You're immortalized. It's one of those teams that made a difference, is all I can say.
Well, you know what? I mean, like, you got yours, I got mine. I hope the people can see or whatever. But
we can see it. I see it back there.
Yeah, that was the start. That was the start of, I believe we won the game 41-7 or no?
41-7, the biggest bowl win of that bowl season.
Okay,
biggest
yeah, and it was on New Year's Eve, right?
Yep, and I had a good time that night, Perry, when I go on.
Oh, like I said, my brother was there. My youngest brother had just come back from he was on leave from the military, and we had a good time, man. We had a real good time. And I just remember, like, during that week of our time getting there, staying at the Peabody Hotel, the famous Peabody Hotel. And I think I'm in the room listening to some Tupac. I'm getting ready for the game, listening to some Dear Mama. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, Mama need a house. I'm all inside of myself. I'm not even myself. I'm trying to become this other thing and not Perry. I'm trying to become P-Funk. And I get a knock on the door. And then some of the guys, they were like, "Hey man, it's almost 5 o'clock." I'm like, "Man, we don't go to dinner until like 7 or something, whatever time it was." They were like, "No, the duck's about to come. The duck's about to come."
Oh yeah, the ducks.
Yeah, the Peabody duck. I had no idea. And I'm like, "Hey, Marchand, I ain't gonna lie." I was like, "Man, really, man, get up out of here," or whatever. They were like, "Nah, this is something that you need to see, and you ain't gonna enjoy. You appreciate it." And I go down there. I was like, "Freaking ducks! Nobody wants to see no ducks." I'm from Monroe, Louisiana, Duck Dynasty, man. I've seen ducks.
You know ducks.
Yeah, but man, when they opened up the elevator, man, it was a calmness and to see that, whatever, and from what I thought I needed to do, I was already prepared for that. I didn't need to hard myself with the music or anything, but those ducks just made me more relaxed for that game. And and I'm thankful for them ducks because at the time, just being relaxed. And I think the only 7 points that they did receive was on a miscommunication, and there was a long touchdown or whatever. And we come back, and who landed? Was that a
no? But basically, it was a broken play on there, and he's scrambling out the pocket, and he, just somebody after that time, enough people, somebody's gonna break free, and it just was a wild play.
Right. And we were like, dang, there go our shutout.
Or else we get a shutout. Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted a shutout. But yeah, man, I was in the right place, right time. Look at that. If you look at that picture, man, I had a whole bunch of my teammates. You making a block, Adelia's making a block. You got Pastor Tang right behind me, and it was crazy, and a great experience for me to be there. And it's so crazy when you look back at things. I know you probably do this. The Tennessee Titans at this time, right? What I didn't know, but would be the team that I would play. They were actually in Tennessee. In Memphis at that time. So I believe somewhere one of them scouts, man, probably was watching that game. And let's take a look at Perry Phenix. So things go into fruition, but great time.
And they did. What a story you got to tell too. I mean, your time wasn't done after such an impact you made at Southern Miss, all conference performer, back-to-back 100+ tackle seasons. And people, I mean, for a safety to get 100+ tackles, that's a lot of tackles. I'm just going to tell you that from that position. But Perry's was bringing the P-Funk, and that's why they call him.
Gotta bring it, man.
But man, so you get a chance with the Tennessee Titans. And what would you say some of the big differences from college to pro?
I would say on the line. I mean, there's going to be like the skill positions about the same speed. I mean, more technicians, more people that know the game, and are students of the game that makes them faster and quicker to make decisions. Because in college, I mean, hey, you're just talented. You're just talented, whatever. You all probably was always the man or whatever, and you could just do it. But going to the NFL to stay at the level, it has to be a thing where you have to study. You have to study and become a technician, a student of the game. And the O-line, D-line, they're faster. Yeah, they're faster. They get it. Hey, those tackles, those pulling tackles, man, in that 10-yard, 10-by-10 area, they just as fast as you being a blitzing safety or whatever. So they get onto you. I play against Jonathan Ogden and Orlando Pace, and those guys, man, 6'8", man, 6'8", 330. And those guys are coming at you, man. They really are, to wipe you out.
Yes, indeed. I remember my short stint, those linemen get a hold of you. They get a hold of you. But man,
you can't get away.
You just can't get away. You're going from point A to point B and get ready for the next plays based on what's happening. But
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, but you made a great impact early, and you're part of a play, man. And I was so proud to watch. I'm like, that's my guy Perry. You're in a playoff game in 1999, the wild card playoff game against the Buffalo Bills, and man, y'all are down at that point, 3 seconds left, and it's called the Music City Miracle, man. And you're in the picture of the play with Kevin Dyson running down the sideline. It's one of the most iconic plays in the history of the NFL, man. Just talk me through that moment, and just people still talk about that, I'm sure, in Nashville daily.
Oh man, it's definitely just like like us, like our painting, just like Hattiesburg or whatever. Same thing in Nashville with that play. And I look back at my careers and some of the things that we've talked about today or whatever. I've always been on those teams that's always been on the fringe, of something great or something great. If this could happen, all we need is that one break. And I've always been a part of teams like that from high school, junior college to Southern Miss to Tennessee. And this was one of those teams. I mean, they were road warriors with their own right because they had just moved from Houston. They had time in Memphis. And then that year, we were basically our practice facility was made up like a trailer park, man. Our meeting rooms were trailers or whatever because they were building the new stadium and everything, whatever. But it was just that thing that everything had came together at the right time. That previous year we went 8-8. Made a couple changes. We had brought in some great draft picks, Javon, the Freak, Curse, and everything like that. And things just worked out that year. And a lot of times, like with that play, a lot of people don't know that Kevin Dyson, man, he never practiced that play. All that was improvised. Man, we would practice that at the end of practice on a walkthrough, right? And that particular time, I think Derek Mason was supposed to be the recipient of the pass, but he gets hurt. So we had to improvise with Kevin Dyson. Kevin Dyson came in the league. We were 1998. Remember, Kevin Dyson was the guy that got picked over Randy Moss in the first round. Yeah, you're right. And everybody's like, So with it being said that, we improvised, man, from the time we got 16 seconds left on the clock, man, all hope is lost. And they called the play. We're going to do the Music City. We're going to do, we're going to do, what was it? Yeah, I forget the name that they called.
Well, we know it is the Music City Miracle, Perry.
Well, it's a home run throwback. I'm sorry, home run throwback. That was the name of the play that we would practice only during our walkthroughs on a Saturday, and all the guys were lollygagging. It's nothing. We're never going to use this, but everything came to fruition that day when the ball was kicked, came short. Lorenzo Neal takes the ball, knowing that he's not the guy that's going to make anything happen. He pitches the ball back to Frank Wycheck. I love me some Frank Wycheck, one of the best tight ends to ever play the game. He used to twist me up in practice, whatever. But Frank Wycheck gets the ball, throws it to Kevin Dyson, and all I can remember was, hey, just do your assignment. And next thing you know, we got a shot. And I'm running down the field just as like a bodyguard for Kevin Dyson. And time expired. Everybody's like, don't worry about it. It's a forward lateral. And we knew it wasn't a forward lateral, but it was great. The whole stadium erupted, the whole city. It was just nice. And that year, that propelled us to go on to bigger and better things, playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Super Bowl, man. I mean, you're immortalized in this painting. You're immortalized with the Music City Miracle, and then you get to go to the Super Bowl. But Perry, man, 1 yard short of winning that Super Bowl, man. 1 yard.
Man, football, as we both know, is a game of inches, right? Just like life, whatever. And no fault to Kevin Dyson. Like I said, he had made that one great. We was like, oh, here's another one. This guy has got to be the lucky guy ever. But you know what? Mike Jones, he made a great play. If Kevin Dyson, if he would have pushed up a little bit further, I think we would have had a shot. But it wasn't in the cards that day for us. But hey, we were there, and it was a great experience, man.
Man, you're part of an elite crew that can say they played in the Super Bowl. So nothing wrong with being runner-ups in a Super Bowl. I've never even thought of being in those kind of heights. Hadn't been there, man. So congratulations, Perry.
Hey, you know what? A little guy from Monroe, Louisiana, to be on that field, on that stage, Super Bowl 34 was a pretty amazing accomplishment for me, man.
Yeah, kind of getting a last chance you vibe, like you said, turning a Super Bowl run, and wound up being a 6-year NFL run and ending it with Tennessee. And then one thing, I've read where you may not realize the impact you made sometimes, but you are considered the best number 35 in the history of that franchise, man. That's big deal. A lot of people have worn the number 35.
Yeah,
you're the guy.
Hey, you are pretty good at this, man. You came up with that. Hey, that's pretty good if that's what it is or whatever. I think just to be that opportunity, man. So many people get the opportunity, and like you were mentioning, like a lot of it's skill, but a lot of it's luck and timing as well, man. I had the fortunate ability to go to a team that fit exactly what I did well. Right, those Coach Thompson, like his defense, unconditional defense. It was the same thing that we were doing in the old Chicago Bear defense, man. And I fit well with that and that tenacity that I had. And the confidence that I got, and I brought that same work ethic from Southern Miss on to the league. And it was just one of those things where, luck, right time, it happened. And it happened, and I was just proud to be a Southern Miss Golden Eagle representing up in that thing for us.
Man, it was so much fun seeing you do your thing in the league too, man. I was so happy, proud for you, just like a lot of people were. But man, so what's life up to now for Perry Phenix? Give us the latest updates, man. Life after football.
Man, you know what I do, Marcin? I do, believe it or not, man, I do a lot of Bob Ross painting now. Like I always was a good artist. I mean, drawing everything, but during COVID, I ended up turning one of my bedrooms into like makeshift, like my little art studio. So Bob Ross was a guy that always, he would calm me down, because the way that, if anybody know Bob Ross was a guy with a calm, a constant flow of his voice or whatever. And, a lot of people didn't realize that this guy was a former drill sergeant, and had anger management issues. But painting was one of the ways that he calmed down. And I don't have anger management problems or anything like that, but it calms me down. I get a chance. It's sort of like my meditation, with myself being retired now. So it's giving me something to focus and enjoy. I do a lot of golfing right now. I'm terrible. I'm terrible going on the golf, but I go to Top Golf. And right now, man, it just like I'm waiting for the next thing, like, because I've been retired ever since I was 40, I think 39 or 40. So it gets a little boring at times or whatever. I spend too much money going to the mall buying stuff that I don't need. But I am so blessed, man, and all that. Believe it or not, man, I could have given all that up to become a appliance technician.
Isn't that crazy?
I know.
Crazy.
God is good,
man. I'm so lucky and blessed, and I sing your praises all the time. That we crossed paths, and you were my teammate, and you were just one hell of a guy to have on your side, man. I mean, great friend, so many laughs. It's just so much, man. But with all that said, Perry, what's a message you might have for the Southern Miss fans? Give me something good, Perry, for maybe now in the future.
Something good. Miss. Hey, Marcin, all I got is one thing. SMTTT, Southern Miss to the top.
Well, I like it, man. I like it. If that's your thing, how about we do it together? From Perry Phenix, the guy who got me on a painting, and myself, everybody gets a big Southern Miss
to the top.
Well, that's it for another edition of Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime. And I can't say enough how fired up to watch our Southern Miss Golden Eagles play Mississippi State in Starkville on Saturday. And like always, all I ask of you to do is, if you're enjoying the show, please help spread the word of the show. Tell family, friends, whoever, that you know what? Marcin's got a decent product over there. Well, until next time, as always, it's Southern Miss to the top.